Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you're doing okay and that your week started well. Thank you as always for coming and spending some time with me. I really do appreciate the fact that you spend time with me, and also thank you for the lovely comments. I do love to hear from you. Now, today I thought we'd have a go at just creating a beautiful design, not for any particular purpose, but one of those cards that you could turn into. It could be a get well card, it could be a new home card, you could even make it a birthday card. And I just fancied using some different colours, going for purples and blues, and almost having a magical theme. Now, we're using a small, an A6 or C6 card and envelope because, again, I'm conscious of postage, and I know a lot of you like to work on smaller designs. But, you know, just because it's a small design, it doesn't mean that we can't have a lot of detail in there. I mean, look at that. I mean, I'd love to live there. I bet you would too. Poppies, field grass, butterflies, beautiful. Trailing ivy. I mean, what's not to love? And using a stencil in the background. And very much at the minute, I love stencils. And I'm trying to sort of remind you all about stencils, because I think they're one of those products we buy and we just put on the shelf. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm urging you, it's my thing for April. Get your stencils out. I'd love to see you work with stencils. But just adding it in the background, you know, oh, I just love it. So, obviously, as always, I've decorated my envelope, permanent ink and some posca, which is permanent when dry. Now, when I started off with this design, it's so funny. I'm using the Zen Houses. Now, there's 3 in the set. I'm using this one here, and it's so funny. When I went to the extravaganza recently, I suddenly realised when I was looking around all the stamps like you do, I have a little play on words. I try and remember all the names. Bit silly, I know. Well, I try and get them right in my head. You know what I'm like. I get those wrong names and they stick. And I realised I hadn't got these Zen Houses. And I thought, right, so I bought them. And I thought, right, and that was my focal point. And just I used the acetate, and this piece of card, it's an A6 piece of card. It's the multifarious, and I've just trimmed it a little. So it's probably something like 5.5 inches by 3 3/4, something like that. It's just shy small of the A6. And I used my acetate. You know me, I thought if I stamp the house in the middle, for me, it's got to be dead centre then. So I like to just put it off centre. I always think it looks a little bit more appealing. And this was the one I thought, look at the flowers around the door. But 3 beautiful houses, and great for men's cards if you need one. You know, if it's a specific birthday or retirement, or, you know, lots of ideas. So let's get started, and I'm just going to reach my copy paper, which is on the floor next to Eric, as always. He's sat here under my table, keeping my feet warm. And I'm going to stamp this beautiful house in the black, the Versafine Claire, the Nocturne. So much detail. And as I say, it is amazing how much you can get on such a small piece of card. So I'm going to pop it sort of here. Now, it might be you've already got the Zen Houses. I think they're possibly one of Tracy's earlier stamps. So if you've got it, have you used it recently? This could be a good reason for you to get it out and have a play. Look at that. Stunning. So I'm going to give that a blot. Because you know me, the little recipe, the little way I work is I'm just stamping that detail first, and then I'm going to come in and add a little bit of landscape. And the colours I've chosen for this, and I'm going to use the elements, and we're going for violet chalk, mermaid, and then we'll come in round the edges with that dark denim. So we'll start with the violet chalk, and I'll get my mini hill masks out. And I just find it easier putting my work on the side. And I want my flatter mask first. And as always, I'm just going to blend some ink on the lid. Must admit, my violet chalk, I've used it a lot. I think I'm getting nearly ready for a new ink pad. So I actually don't need to pop this on the lid. It's such a light colour. And I'm always starting off, look, under the house, because that will naturally be darker. So that will naturally give me a little bit of shade. And if I just lift that up, will you see, we've naturally got that little bit of shadowing there. And then let's have just one hill. I'm thinking there. And I'm just going to come in. Doesn't matter if I go over the house a little. We're going to add some colour to the house with our pencils, so it doesn't matter if I go over the house a little. Let's have a look. Yes, that's enough. Enough colour there. So we'll pop that to the side, and I'm just going to give these a wipe, just with my cloth, my inky binky, before I put them away, so that they're nice and clean, ready for next time I use them. And we'll come in with the smallest of our circle masks, the acetate. And I'm thinking, again, I just like it, just at the side of the house. But you know me, I like to turn it round. And I'm going to use Mermaid. And this time I'm going to go down a size in the brush. I'm going to come in with the number 7, just because I feel if I used a larger brush, I've not got as much control, and I want to almost avoid going over the purple there. Now, this is a strong colour. This is Mermaid. So I'm definitely putting, oh, look at that. You can see how much colour's there. This is a newer ink pad. And again, you will get to know your own ink pads. So I'm going to start at the bottom, as always, because that will give me some instant shade and depth anyway. And then could end up with blue fingers here, but never mind. There's worse things. And I've probably got enough ink there on that. Try not to automatically re-ink your brush. You'd be surprised how much ink is on that brush. And pick it up off the circle mask here. And look, we've got enough with that one. We've gone all the way round. And there we go. And that way, you know, your ink pad will last longer. So I'm just going to give that a wipe. Again, I want to make sure that's clean when I put it away. And then while I've got, in fact, that ink pad out now, I may not need any more. We'll bring in the stencil, and this is the ivy. I just thought it would look lovely as though it was creeping up. Now, I'm just going to pop it on where the blue is, but if you're worried that you may go over the purple, you can always bring your little hill mask, if you can remember which one you use, look. Well, we'll put that there, that'll be fine, just to protect it. But I'm going to be mindful not to go over the purple anyway. So I'm going to start with the blue, and we're going to do tone on tone here. So I'm just going to start blue on blue and just see if we've got any ink. Now, you'll be surprised how much shows up. I'm not going over the moon yet because I'll wait till I've used some of this ink up on my brush. Does that make sense? Because obviously when you re-ink, that's when you've got the most ink on your brush and you'll get a deeper colour. And I'm being very gentle with this stencil. And if I lift that up, oh, that's lovely. That's such a lovely effect. But now I've got less ink on my brush, I'm just gingerly, and I'm just going to tickle the stencil over that moon, because again, I don't want it too deep. And you know, some of you have messaged me and said you're heavy-handed, and one of the best ways is pop less ink on your brush, pop it in the lid, but also hold it lightly, gently. Look at this, I'm not gripping it, I'm just hardly, and I'm tickling. And when I think in my head tickle, Oh, look at that. Yeah, happy with that. So if I take that away, look. So you see how we've got that beautiful, and you can still see it here, but it sort of disappears. And now I'm just going to come in with the beautiful dark denim round the edge. Now, it's up to you. You can either use a brush for this. I'm going to use one of our little blending sponges. It's whatever you are used to using and are comfortable with. So I'm just going to lean on my kitchen roll, just because obviously if I've got mucky fingers. And don't be too precious about this. We're going to be stamping over this. Don't worry. And I always ink up on the corners and then fill in the space in the middle. And for me, it's important I turn my work. So again, I dab in the lid. And this really will frame the design. So again, the corner, and then when I've got less ink, just down the side. And again, turn it. You see how it's building up beautifully and just framing the whole design. Lid, and then corner. You've got most ink, so it'll be darker. And then as you've got less ink, across the top. And we've probably got enough to come all the way down the side. And if there's any bits you want to reblend, my suggestion is, so this I think needs to come in a bit more. I don't need any more ink, look. I can pick some up off my mat here and just blend it in that bit further. Let's have a look. Yeah, happy with that. And that's dark denim, such a beautiful colour, sort of black but not black. A little tip, if you get little bits like I got there off my sponge, which you will get every so often, try not to brush them with your hand, because if you've got ink, like I have, look, you might put marks on your card, so try and just give it a bit of a blow, or with your kitchen roll, just give it a dab. So we'll just spray this now. Now I'm just going to wipe this up with my cloth, but you could dab a piece of card in there and make yourself an extra background. And then that would be some homework for you for another day. Now, I'm just wiping my brushes because sometimes that ink can spritz when you spritz it. And just catch anything in the vicinity. Try and keep my handles clean. You know me. Try to keep everything as clean as I possibly can. Just works better for me. So, copy of paper. And let's add some stamping. Now, when I was looking at my colours of VersaFine Clair, I've gone for Fantasia because I think that brings in that lovely purpley tone. And then Warm Breeze, look, because that brings in the beautiful blue tone. Now, I did get out Twilight, but I must admit I haven't used it, so I'm going to pop that to the side. And often that's what I do. I may add some more with the black, I might not. And that's the way I work. I just use, I mean, the VersaFine Clairs are fabulous. And when you tone them with your elements, it really, I think just makes your work look so good. Now we'll come in with these beautiful wild poppies. And again, as always, if you're not sure, look, use your acetate. So this one I'm using the beautiful deep purple colour. You could do it in black, but I just think it really shows up with these purpley sort of magical colours. And it's a silhouette, so again, let that ink soak into the card because we've got Elements ink on there, haven't we? So it just needs to soak through. Oh, look at that. And then we'll just pop one this side. And then just a little in the front here. So I'm just going to ink up the top part. Oh, got some ink on my block there. Look, I'll wipe that off because knowing me, I'll get it. Now, normally you would avoid the house, but I'm thinking I just want to pop this over. So it'll just help me with perspective. And often it leads our eye when we overlap designs. Sometimes we're too frightened and keep everything almost separate and make them segmented. Does that make sense? So I'm going to give that a wipe and then take it off the block. And I'm going to come in now with the orchard grass. And this is where I'm going to change colour to that warm breeze to bring in those beautiful blue tones. And when I do this, you'll see how it really ties it together. And it gives us that lovely cohesive design. A little bit more. I don't want to overcook it with the blue, but I just need a bit up there. There we go. And I think that's beautiful. And again, look at that. Yummy. So, trailing down, I'm coming in for this falling ivy. There are quite a few different ivy stamps, and I'd forgotten about this one, and once I've got it out, I keep using it. I think we all do that, don't we? So maybe have a look what ivy stamps you've got. And we'll just start, we'll have a lovely hanging. Now, I don't want it symmetrical, but I almost do want to frame my work. So I'm going to have two longer hanging trailing pieces. And then I want a longer one in the middle, but I'm going to sort of clump the ivy. Sort of first and second generation look. So this I've just got one, that I've got, so it's a mixture. And then I'm just going to give that a wipe, and I'll come in with the warm breeze just to complement. So the colours that I used at the bottom, I'm going to use at the top. And again, you could have done your warm breeze first, but I just wanted, because I'm edging it, to help that frame with the darker colour. That's why I've come in with the darker colour first. And I just feel if I clump it, for me, it looks more natural. You know, when we start off, we're very tempted to do sort of a darker light, whereas this just looks more natural. And you almost have to tell yourself, you know, let's try and be natural. And then I'm just going to add one of these lovely little silhouette butterflies. And again, take note, this is a butterfly because I want it to be a butterfly. It's not the emergency butterfly that you put over that little black mark. Well, not yet anyway. And look, we've got a lovely heart there. And I think the butterfly will be beautiful just over that ivy leaf that looks like a little heart. Now, there's 4 butterflies on that set. So useful should you need. Now again, we'll give that a blot, and then we'll add some colour. VersaFine Clay, slower drying ink, and I always say it, so give it a good blot. And I'm going to come in with my watercolour pencils, look. And I'm going to go for colours that complement. I'm going to lean on my kitchen roll. So let's go for, get the blue out. And there's a purple and a darker blue, and I just want a little bit of yellow. And the yellow, I just want the window in yellow. And then just to tie in, just going to add some around the door. And then basically you can colour this however you want. So I just find it easier to choose the colours before I start. And again, you will take longer. And I'm sorry if my head comes over the camera. Just want to, let's have a bit of this lovely purple lilac-y colour. And I'm going to colour straight over these lovely flowers because we're going to add them back in later. And this is why I didn't worry if my ink, my purple ink, had gone on here, because I knew I was going to add the colour with my pencils. And then let's go for a blue roof. And as I say, you will take longer. I mean, maybe stamp a few of these up. Maybe use the 3 different beautiful Zen houses, 1 on each. Stamp them up and then give yourself a lovely afternoon. Pop the kettle on, make yourself a brew and just sit either in your craft room or if the weather's nice in your garden and just do some lovely, lovely colouring. Right, we'll put those away and I'm going to come with my Wink of Stella pen and I'm just going to do a bit of that wink of colouring. So start with the lightest colour first, which is the yellow, and then just going into the purple and then into the blue. And that way it'll the water part of the Wink of Stella pen will blend the pencil, so that'll do the water colouring, but because it's got the sparkle in, it'll be beautiful and sparkly and all magical as well. And last of all, we'll do the door, which is the deeper colour, the deeper blue, and I'll just clean that. Oh, there we go, it's gone back to normal now. So if I want to add a little bit on the moon, look, it's back to that nice shiny colour. And then what we'll do is underneath my watercolour pencils, look, I have my pastel pencils. And I want to I've got a lovely purple in here, and I've also got the white. So with the white, I'm just going to add a couple of little highlights. And again, I don't want to overcook it, but I'm just thinking where the moon is here, it'll just catch just on these. And again, give them a bit of a smudge. And then with I've gone for the purple look, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow, a little bit of shading under the house. And this is just a biodegradable cotton bud. Again, you can use your finger, but I'm trying to be good and use this and keep my hands clean. But also, I mean, look at that underneath. But also, we just catch a little bit of shadow here, look. And then on this side, and for me, I just turn my work. So just on this edge, look, up the side, and just round this side, because obviously the moon's on that side of the house. And just shadowing under there. Just down here. I just want to catch that little, just missed a bit in that corner. But look at that, and can you see the difference? I love the way that shadow just adds to the whole magical feel. Right, so I'll pop that back away. And then I've got a couple of our lovely Signo gel pens, and these are the metallic ones. And this one's blue, and this one's, I'm sure this one's gold. Does say it somewhere on it. So what I'm going to do with these is the beautiful vines on the roof, look, I'm going to use the gold. And again, you'll have a steadier hand than me when you know you're not being watched. And then the vines on the roof here as well, look, we'll use the gold on the little doorknob. But then for the flowers, what I thought is I'm going to add some blue. And the metallic pens work perfectly over the Wink of Stella. So don't worry that you've done your winker colouring. And then I'm also going to come in with some gold. And again, you will take your time. And on the roof here, look, there's a few little, and I'm just going to add a few little gold. And it's just those little finishing details. I'll just bring it a bit closer. Right, so lids on those. As I say, they're the metallic pens. The Signo Uniball metallic pens, love those. Now, the little finishing trick, if you would like, I mean, it might be that you're happy at this stage and want to leave it like this. You could add your fan brush and add some water splats. But I'm going to add my yellow sparkle posca, the glittery posca. As you know, this is just my favourite. I was teaching at Lavinia recently and I did buy another one because I was worried. I've got one and I've got a spare, but the one I'm using I've used it a lot and I am so funny. I really don't want to be out and not have one of these. So I'm going to give that a shake and I'm just going to add the sparkle just round here. Now, as I say, if you don't like adding your posca sparkle, and again, I'm keeping my pen, look, quite close, so it's controlled. You could add water splats, you could add your glitter. You finish the design off however you like to finish the design off. For me, I'm afraid it's got to be the glittery posca. And I love the way it really shows up on that dark blue. And as you can see, I can actually get it exactly where I want it. We've avoided the house. And then I'm just going to give this a bit of a wipe, just in case I have got any posca around. It's when I look underneath at the camera. That'll be when I'll see how much posca we've got. And if I bring that a bit closer to show you, look, I just love the way it just glistens here and looks so magical. And with it being the yellow sparkle, it matches the yellow and the gold on our lovely Zen house look. So that's the one we've just created. And here's the one with our card and envelope. And as I say, what a lovely way to spend an afternoon adding some colour. And obviously this is a purple and blue version. Maybe do a yellow and orange, a spring version. Oh, you could do 4, couldn't you? You could do a spring, summer, autumn and winter. Let's face it, you could make this a Christmas design. See? More homework for you. So you take care. Have a lovely evening. As always, if you create something, please tag me in. I love to see what you do. I really do. And enjoy doing some homework. I'll see you again tomorrow. You take care. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.